What's up, everyone? It's the Detective back again with another Bionicle Let's Build. And this is going to be a more interesting one. This isn't actually an official set, but it is an official model. Now, back when Bionicle G1 was the thing, LEGO held many contests, actually. And one of them was the Dark Hunter contest. I believe that there were like between 20 and 30 winners, and the winning creations became official Dark Hunters in canon. So technically, what I'm about to build is a mock. However, it is an official mock, and they were unfortunately never released as sets. I actually found a number of different instructions online. Yeah, there's this guy on Flickr who was able to kind of deconstruct the Dark Hunters, basically, and he created instructions for them. So I will actually link them down below. I believe that there's a few different people who have done them, but the ones that I'm currently using are very, very easy, step-by-step, detailed and stuff. Without further ado, let's get started, and we're starting out with the feet. So, yeah, I'm just going to be going by the instructions that I got on Flickr. Again, I will link them down below. There's this guy who goes by, I believe, what's his name, like Vaki6, Kuhan Shaden. I will, like I said, I'll link it down below. But he was the one who basically kind of decoded and deconstructed the Dark Hunters, and I think he did a really great job. So, yeah, I believe that we are currently building the feet. So that's just pretty interesting. So, yeah, his feet are pretty crazy. One of the things that I really like about the Dark Hunters, at least the ones that won the contest, was that they were very unique, but they also looked a lot like official sets. Because remember, this was back in like 2005 and 2006. So the way that these guys are built, while there are some that are somewhat unorthodox, just the way that they were built were kind of similar to official Titan sets, at least from back then. The building constructions were similar, and I'm pretty sure that there are actually a few that totally just ripped off official builds. I'm pretty sure that Mimic uses a Metru build with Kikinalo styled legs, which is honestly kind of amusing. But it still is very cool because they do very much fit in with the official sets, and I do really like that about them. So, yeah. Anyway, so let's just keep building. So we have these little gray connector pieces, and Tyrant has like a Rockshi style head. I believe that in canon, he is actually the same species as the Shattered one. But the cool thing about that is that he actually has these really cool kind of hooves almost, which is pretty unique. Wait a sec, am I building this correctly? Yeah, I guess I am. Alright, so very, very weird, kind of unique too, and he just looked really, really cool. When I first saw him, like, just, you know, doing some research, searching up some pictures of Dark Hunters one day, he was very, very underwhelming. He looked honestly pretty bad, but he grew on me, for sure. He really did grow on me. And, yeah, I decided to get him. I feel like this piece should be able to push in. I guess not. Oh, there we go. It was just very stiff. Alright, so now we take this Mata foot piece. There we go. So, kind of almost like hooves. It's really, really weird. He has like these raised feet, little claws on the side, the silver Borak teeth. Those are pretty cool. Alright. And then we just add on this piece. Oh, we gotta build a second one. Alrighty. So I guess we'll just start doing that. So that piece goes there. Whoops. I'm just kind of using this as a little guide almost. This piece goes there. And another 3 long pin goes right there. Alright, so, alright, then we take these pieces, and yeah, so it's a very, very interesting build. Honestly, really excited to build him. Obviously, I'm building him right now, but his design is pretty cool, in my opinion. So really excited to complete him, and, you know, the Dark Hunters in general were pretty obscure. Tyrant was actually very obscure. From what I heard, he didn't have very much of a big part in the lore. However, he just looks awesome. Oh, wait a sec. I gotta move that down one. Whoops. There we go. Alrighty. So this piece goes there. He wasn't very prevalent in the lore, from what I've heard. He was just kind of there. I think I already mentioned this, but I believe that he's part of the Shadowed One species, which is quite interesting. And Ancient is also sort of part of that species, and I guess it makes sense for Ancient and Tyrant, because, you know, they kind of use modified versions of Rakshi heads with kind of bulky, stocky-looking bodies. But the Shadowed One himself uses a Vaki head with some weird kind of crown ear sort of construction. So it's honestly a little bit interesting, because I guess if you're looking at it from the perspective that the Shadowed One was designed first, and he was, because, you know, this was a contest, and obviously Greg Farshdi just kind of integrated these characters into the canon afterwards. But it kind of begs the question, why did they make Tyrant and Ancient part of the Shadowed One species when the Shadowed One is literally built using a Vaki head with like little bar pieces? His head is sort of like Rudaka's head with like a crown on it. I actually used to think that the Shadowed One was a male version of Rudaka's species, but he's not a Vortex. I don't even know the name of the species, but anyway, here are the feet. Pretty cool. Oh, and I guess now we're just going to move on to the legs, which are essentially just Vaki legs with Metru armor, so really nothing too special. I guess technically you could say the top part of them are Hordika legs, because they use the silver Metru armor. So there's one leg. Very, very cool. Oh, whoops. You can actually kind of stand them like this, I guess. If you really want it to be weird, you could twist them around and just kind of have them like that, or like this, but it's supposed to be like that, so it's kind of very, very interesting. There we go. So, whoops. There we go. Alright. And then you attach this piece. So yeah, the legs are pretty simple. The torso is pretty complex, though, because it did, like I mentioned earlier, they were shipped assembled, so I did have to disassemble them. So I did kind of take note that the torso was actually pretty complex. Alright, so we're going to set these aside. I'll just put them in the corner there. And now we're going to start the torso. Alright, so this is where it gets complex. Now, so we're going to start out with this. Alrighty. And there we go. Just put those little Technic pieces in there. I just have my computer with me, obviously, which is where I got these instructions. So if there's ever an axle or a pin which it's just too stiff for me to push in without damaging my nail, I'm just gonna use my computer to push it in just because it's easier. But yeah, so we're just gonna go off of this, and we have this silver piece, just a single long pin. There we go. And what do I put in there? Oh, I put another 3 long axle. There we go. Whoops. So there's the waist, I guess. So now we're going to actually take these pieces. One thing which I find a little bit interesting is that this figure uses both dark bluish gray and dark gray, like the original color. And he also uses both light bluish gray and light gray. So it's honestly a little awkward. Actually, does he use light gray? I don't. Maybe in the bushings he does. Yeah, you can see here, that's light gray, that's light bluish gray. Light gray, light bluish gray. And then there's one more of these, which is a light gray, the original light gray. So it's kind of just dispersed, however, which is interesting. I personally don't really mind it. When it comes to mixing dark gray and dark bluish gray, I usually will mind it, because those, like, the original dark gray looks very, very almost green, compared to the dark bluish gray, which honestly doesn't look blue at all. It just looks gray. But light bluish gray and light gray are really, really similar, so I honestly don't mind it. They don't really look too much apart, especially with bushings and stuff. It's almost a little bit tricky to identify which is which. But yeah, so just know a lot of the Dark Hunters do this, where they will mix grays, they'll mix light grays. Alrighty. I don't know what I was rambling on there for a while about. But anyway, let's go. So he actually uses a Rockshi back, which is quite interesting. So we're just going to build a Rockshi back. Kind of would have liked if it was actually a red Rockshi back, since he literally has 4 red parts on him, and that's it. And he already has a lot of silver. I feel like this could have been red. I might actually test it out with a red one and just see how it looks or something, but for now, obviously the original build used silver, so that's what we're going to do. And then we're just going to attach this piece on here. And where does that attach? That attaches right here. Yeah, so there we go. There's the main section of the torso, I guess. So yeah, this is where I believe, yeah, this is where the shoulders are going to connect or something. Or that's where these are going to connect. Alright. Alright, so then over here, take another long axle and then attach a Hordika neck. There we go. Alrighty, so next step, we just sandwich them together, I guess. Whoops. Alrighty, so, alright, yeah, I was worrying that this piece would be flopping around all the time, but then I realized that it's going to get connected to some Technic pieces, so, alright, so let's put this over here, let's put this over there, let's put this over there, and yeah, so now once we connect everything together again, it should be held in place, so yeah, I was worrying for no reason. Yeah, so now we're going to take these Borok pieces, and I'm not the biggest fan of the Borok parts because they make him look very square. I mean, from the side, he looks great because that flows really well. They just look a little bit awkward, though. So, so now we're going to actually build the shoulders, I guess. So, these pieces go here. Boom. Just kind of like the way that the Rockshi were built. So yeah, we are actually moving at a pretty fast pace, but there's that. And where does that connect? I guess we'll just set it aside for now. Alrighty. So then we attach it to this piece over here. And this attach is to the Rockshi foot. Interesting. Alright, so this piece, whoops. So this piece goes over here. And then we take a 4 long axle with, whoopsie, a half bushing and a standard bushing. And this piece kind of hooks around here. Oh, there we go. That works. So there's the torso. Pretty interesting. This piece kind of wants to pop out. Wonder if it's because of this. Does that do anything? Maybe not. Probably doesn't. Oh, that actually kind of pushed it out there. Alright. Whoops. Just me fiddling around with things. So, yeah, it does actually look pretty cool. The torso, like, it definitely has good shaping. Like, just that little curve, the little way that these protrude out, it actually really adds to it. Because if they didn't, his torso would basically be square from the front view. And that would be quite disappointing. Alright, so now we shall attach on the legs. Boom. And boom. Alright, now we are building the head. This is actually really cool. The head is a really, really cool aspect of this design. Alright, so we start out actually with these these dark gray connectors here. And we're just putting in some original light gray loose axle pins. Definitely better to use these than use the blue ones or use the tan ones that have been released more recently. Would have been cool if they were black, though. So then, oh, whoops, wrong piece. This needs to be silver. So he basically has like this hooked style mouth, which I think is actually pretty cool. So, unfortunately, though, the way that his head's constructed, he doesn't really have eyes. I mean, I guess you could replace this with another piece to actually give him kind of, to actually give him kind of a color of eyes, but it's just kind of black, so it doesn't really do anything. But, whatever. That's okay. And we just attach in these axle pins over here. And then we just kind of attach, boom. So, he kind of has these cool horn, really cool horn look to him. And just snap that together. There we go. How cool is that? And you can push down on this to kind of open up his mouth a little bit. That's actually really neat, using the rock she had as kind of the top of the mouth. Alright, so let's, boom, check that out. Or you could kind of go like this to just kind of give him like tusks, almost. That's really, really cool. I really like that head. That's a really neat head design, in my opinion. Look at that. That's awesome. Alright, I'll just prop him up against that board. Scooch everything a little bit closer, just because there's barely any parts left. Alrighty. So, alright, so now we have the arms, basically. So start off with this piece. And that piece attaches like so. And 3 long axle goes in here. Whoopsie. So he has 2 different arms. On one arm, he literally has a Technic cannon. That's literally his arm. The other arm, though, has this actually really cool looking claw. So that is what we're building right now, basically. So that's pretty neat, I guess. So this piece, yeah, it's this piece. All right. So this piece goes in here. Technic piece. Another 3 long. What are that other? There we go. Another Technic piece. Whoops. So then this just kind of slides in there, and then boom. That's actually a really, really neat arm design. I actually really like that. And it looks pretty cool from the top, too. And also, I mean, this piece is kept in place, but just the way that it's designed, I think that it works really, really well, honestly. So then we're just going to attach this over here. And boom. So there's the figure so far. Now the other arm. And when I got this, unfortunately, the arm was like really loose in the socket. I really hope that the specific socket that I put there, the specific one that I put up there is somewhat stiff so that the arm doesn't fall, just because, you know, he has a Technic cannon on his arm. Like, it's going to be pretty heavy no matter what, but, you know, you can hope. So yeah, this is definitely going to be using more parts as well. And is that a 3 long or 4 long? I guess it technically has to be a 4 long, doesn't it? Oh wait, no, it's a 2 long actually. Whoopsie. So this piece goes there like so. And then we have this piece over here. 2 4 long axles which just peg in here. And this is basically how we get to attach the Technic cannon. And if you don't know how these things work, they're awesome. I'll show in a little bit once we finish actually building the arm. But look how cool that is. That's just really awesome. Alright, so now we're actually going to build this little kind of scope or whatever that he has on him, which I think is actually pretty cool. So we're just going to use a little stud right there and add on a gear, and then boom. Look at that. That's actually really cool. And then that just gets attached. Boom, like so. So if you don't know how these work, they're just really awesome. For the time being, I'm going to leave that off because I feel like I'm going to accidentally fire it off. But, yeah. Wait a second. I feel like I missed a piece. I think I did. This piece is supposed to be attached to this arm. There we go. All right. And, oh, nice. It actually is a little stiff. So, boom. check that out. So that's basically most of him, I guess. Now we have to build the tail. And it unfortunately seems like the seller skimped out on a part. That's disappointing. I might contact them about it. But then again, I feel like I would have noticed it in the listing pictures. But yeah, I'm missing technically 6 parts, but 3 major parts. Those parts being a bunch of Metru armor parts in silver. Oh, wait a sec. But at least this part is complete, and yeah, so this piece goes here. Just a little awkward trying to maneuver this around. That piece goes there. Boom. Boom. And there's the tail. That's a pretty nice tail, honestly. It's very consistent, like it's all built the same, basically. I'm just kind of, like I'm on one side of the camera, and then my hand, I'm just kind of trying to, twist it around to the other side. But there is Tyrant. And yeah, I am missing that one piece, but, or not that one piece, those 3 pieces, technically 6, like I said, a bunch of Metru armors in silver, and then a bunch of pins, but, it's just pins. But there's Tyrant, and he actually looks really, really cool. Super excited to have him. I am a little bummed out that he was missing a few parts, especially since I don't actually think I have any spare silver Metru armors. Nonetheless, there he is, and he is really, really cool. Super excited to display him with my other Dark Hunters. I really don't have many, but yeah, that's basically it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm the Detective, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.